Hi everyone. This evening I wanted to tell you the true story of The Exorcist. Well, Tom, everybody already knows that story. No, I'm not talking about the book or the movie. I'm talking about actual events that transpired, in which someone was transformed by a demon. Demon, huh? Well, I don't know about that. If you ask me, I think the people just had a good case of food poisoning. They had some chicken salad that was a day too old. That's why they turned upside down. Cursed God. Well, I did the same thing once. When I had a Nabisco cracker with a pickle on it that had a bit too much pimento. Well, that's not what I counted on with a cheese spread. It tasted a little gamey. I even threw someone through a window. I was so mad. You threw someone through a window? Well, in my mind I did. In my mind's eye. I didn't know you had seen the movie, The Exorcist. Well, I've seen it a few times. I've seen the cartoon version. I think it's called Rugrats. Comes on about once a week.
The Exorcist is a 1973 supernatural horror movie. But what many people don't know is that it's based on true events that happened in St. Louis, Missouri in 1949 at a place called the Belnor House. Roland was a little boy who grew up in a red brick house on Roanoke Drive. His parents were busy people with important jobs, and they didn't have time to spend with him. His only friend was his elderly aunt, who lived up in the attic and would babysit him. Many evenings, Roland would be playing alone in his room, and could hear his parents bickering and fighting downstairs. They were prideful people who seemed to be in constant disagreement. There was even talk of divorce. Usually at night, elderly Aunt Harriet would come and tuck Roland in. But one night, she never came downstairs. You see, she died while sitting in her rocking chair, and the family found her a day later. Well, Roland's parents decided to move him up into the attic to get him even further away. And while he was cleaning out the attic bedroom, he found something in an old drawer. It was a Ouija board. Later that week, the family was seated around the dinner table. The parents had been bickering all evening as usual, when the mother finally shifted her attention to the child. "Roland, I heard you saying things up in your bedroom today. You haven't started talking to yourself, have you?"
"No, I was talking to Aunt Harriet."
The parents froze and looked at each other, concerned. "Aunt Harriet? Was she in a dream?"
"No, she's in hell right now. I found a piece of wood that lets me talk to her."
That weekend, the mother of the family heard strange noises in the night. It was Roland. She ran up the stairs to see what was happening, and when she reached the attic, she saw Roland levitating above his bed. And she realized the house is possessed. She immediately ran down the stairs to the phone and called the Catholic Church to request an exorcism. Later that night, they sent over a priest. "Hello, show me where the boy is." They led him to the attic so he could pray over Roland and expel the demon. But when he got there, Roland stood up in his bed and gave the priest the beating of his life. "Oh! Oh! Oh!" Well, the priest failed, but the family wasn't giving up. They called a Lutheran minister to come over, and he looked down at the priest and said, "Get out of my way. I'll show you how it's done." He went up the stairs, but when he got there, Roland's blanket lifted up into the air and took the form of a human shape. It made a fist and punched the old minister right in the gizzard. Well, he dropped to his knees and vomited green pea soup everywhere. You see, he had just finished a dinner and was not ready for that punch. Well, they used that part in the movie, they just changed it a little bit. Next, Roland's parents called an evangelical church to send over its preacher. And when he got there, he looked down at the other two and said, "Huh, looks like you boys didn't have enough faith in the man upstairs. I'll take it from here." But as soon as he walked into Roland's bedroom, he was lifted up in the air. "Hey! Hey, what's happening? What are you doing?" Then the demon threw him against the closet door. Smack! I'm gonna feel that one in the morning. Then the entity picked up a clothes hamper and put it on top of him and made him look like a little horse or a little man. He made him crawl around on the floor, crawl back down the stairs on his hands and knees. I think we've been going about this all wrong." "Maybe you have," said the minister, "but I am in the right religion." "No, don't you see? We're all wrong, 'cause we're all trying to prove we're right." "What do you mean?" "I mean this demon we're facing. It's made of pure hate. And according to the good word, the only way to conquer hate is with love. Brothers, can we honestly say that we came here with an attitude of being loving? Love doesn't get puffed up with pride. It isn't boastful. It seeks out the other person's interest. It covers up their sins, makes excuses for them. Love hopes and believes and endures." "What are you suggesting?" "I'm suggesting that the three of us set aside our egos and put on a mind frame of humility befitting the type of men we claim to be." The priest and the minister agreed, and the three men locked arms and returned up the stairs together. Except this time, they didn't go in with a confrontational spirit to combat the hateful demon. Instead, they ignored him and focused on caring about Roland and trying to help him in any way they could. They sat by his bed and prayed for him. They brought him food and water and read his favorite books to him. And slowly, over the course of the night, the angry demon lost power and departed from the house. Roland's parents ran into the room and hugged him tightly. "Thank you! Thank you! How can we ever show our gratitude?" "No thanks is necessary," said the minister. "We all should be grateful to the same person, the giver of life who shares freely." In the weeks that followed, Roland's parents reflected on their own attitudes and actions. They wondered if their constant fighting and selfishness had allowed the demon of anger into their home, and they wanted to do better. Instead of running to a divorce lawyer, they worked at being kind and patient and having some self-control. It wasn't always easy, but over time their family situation improved. Roland grew up to be a happy, engaging adult with a family of his own. And every holiday he'd bring his own happy children to visit the old red brick house on Roanoke Drive. A place where you used to hear people fighting inside. A place called the Exorcist house. It's just called the Belnor house now. And sometimes people out walking their dog will look over and be reminded that a house divided falls. But a humble home is a happy home.